Hey kids, Mr. Glenn here. I hope you're well. We're going to continue with our selection tool, but we're going to go and be a little bit more creative by using the selection tool and starting to group things together and starting to do things a bit more advanced to the selection itself. So we can start to group layers and we can start to use layers creatively and practically together with different ideas such as the basic photo adjustments. So for example, you've got this photograph here that's on the screen. This building here is looking quite dark in front of this fiery sky, and by using a selection around this building, maybe with the selection brush tool, because it's such a complicated shape, we can go and make that a lot brighter by selecting it and separating it from the picture itself, and starting to use this thing here called curves and starting to start to change the way that the blacks and the whites and different colors within there start to can bring that building out and make it look a little more prominent and sort of be the focal point of the picture. Okay, so this is what we are going to be aiming to do. We're going to start to use a thing called masks, and when we make a selection we can create a little mask, and in that selection we can go and start to do things to a particular part of the picture and leave the other part of the picture alone, or vice versa. Here they've kept the picture with all the colour and then the rest of it is black and white. So we're going to start to do that right now. So let's go back into our picture and let's start to be a little bit more creative with our picture. It's looking a bit boring at the moment, so we've got this rather dull building. So what can we do? Well, if we had this as sort of a centre piece and we just had a whole bunch of them behind us, maybe we could just go and copy and paste these and make more layers. So you can see now I'm just going to copy and paste these. It says BG in there, and let's go and make sure that this says building like this. Go and get rid of that and make sure the names are correct, and double click on those and rename those, and so we know what they are. Okay, so they're buildings. So we've got 3 buildings now just by using sort of the edit, copy and paste, or you can long press and copy and paste and things like that, or you can duplicate the layer. You can right click on there and duplicate it, or long press on it and duplicate it, and you get the same job. Okay, I've got these 3 buildings now, and then I can go and use my select tool, so V and or the arrow over here, and I'll start to move things around, and I can make that building, that center building, a bit more prominent. But you'll notice that it's behind, so be sensible with the buildings, and I can pull that, I can move those layers around, and I can put that building to the center so that the other 2 are behind it like that. So next, I want to go and create a selection now, and then I want to go and make a mask or a mask of some sort, so that I can go and start to do things to the image with a mask-like selection. So let's go and do this. Let's go and make these 3. If you hold down Shift and use these 3 and select the 3 layers together, we can go and group those together, and they can be part of a building group. So I'm going to go and right click, and I'm going to go and find the group layer selection, which is just there. I'm going to go to group layer like that, and in there now they are in a single group. So when I'm in here, this group layer, they are all one piece now. They are just a single piece together, which is kind of what we want. We want that selection in there, because we can start to go and use our selection now, and we can go and use the brush selection tool. It's a bit big at the moment. It's going to make it a bit smaller, maybe half the size, and start to go into this building, and then I can go and start to create a selective mask, because if I go and select this now like this, and I've just got the 3 buildings, I can make them, I can start to change the color of them, and inside my layer I've got my adjustments in here. Now my adjustments can be over on the window sort of to the side, and I can just go into window here and just go to adjustments, which is just there. But the adjustments make a whole long list, which is kind of not particularly helpful. Look, you see, it's just a whole long list, and I can go into curves if I want to go in there, but it's just much quicker to go into adjustments here and go into curves and find that. Now on an iPad, I think it might be the same. You can go and click on the same, you got the same icon which is there, you got that sort of half circle, half knot, and you can go and get your curves inside there. And that curves now, if you look closely inside that thumbnail, it's got the outline of the buildings itself. Okay, so let's go out of this. My selection's gone off the screen. Can you see that? Oh, that's very annoying. Let's just go and undo this, because we need to think about our history. We don't need to worry about making mistakes. My selection here has kind of gone way over. Nah, that's very annoying. But over at the top menu here, I can start to subtract away from here. Now if I just go very slowly, you can see that it's gone and subtracted that away. So it was once there, and now if I go and subtract by using the subtract button over here, I can go and just bring the line in there, and it just gets rid of it all. You see, like that. Now I can go and use that curves mask. It's going to go and mask it all. So I'm going to go to my adjustments, go to my curves like this, and it'll automatically go and put the mask in there. So everything that's white is what's going to show. Everything that's black has been taken away. So let's go into my curves. Let's just go and see if I can go and start to change the colors of these. And what I can do on my curve is I can go and put like an S shape. What I want is I want to try and create an S shape. So I'm going to put a spot in there on that line there, and a spot in there like that. And you can see that as I start to bend that out, can you see how bright it gets? If I start to bend this in, it should start to go and start just to bring in the shadows. You can start to see all the shadows coming through like that. So you can see, look how orange, and look, oh, there's some really crazy orange coming out through there. So I'm going to go and just bring that through here like there. I'm going to go and bring it sort of as if it's got some, as if it's next to a fire. There we go. So you can experiment with that, make it however you like. I've got an idea as to how I want it to look, because my background is looking rather blue at the moment. Now what I'm going to do is inside my blue layer now is, once you've had a go at that and you've had a go and experimented with it, you can go and copy and paste as many things as you want. I'm going to go and get my blue now, and what I'm going to do is do what I did before. I'm going to go and create a gradient, but this time with my gradient I'm going to go and just only put 3 colors in there. So I'm going to put that down like that. I'm going to go and put a spot in the middle like this. I'm going to go and choose a color and double click on my color over here, and then what I'm going to do is perhaps, yeah, do I want it dark red? I might go and have it sort of, let's just go and have it like that. In fact, I'm going to keep it orange just for argument's sake. So something light at the top, and then this middle one I'm going to go and make it an even brighter red. In fact, I realize what I'm doing. I am in my selection still. What a silly Billy. Right, let's go and deselect, because otherwise I'm only in my selection. Let's go back into my selection. Let's go out of here. There we go, that's more like it. So I'm going to put my spot in there, go and put my first spot in. Now you can see it's actually changing, can't you? So I'm going to go and get a brighter color there at the top. In my center, I'm going to go and get a bit of a deeper red, like this. In fact, I might just go and get an orange of some sort, and then at the bottom, I'm going to get it sort of fiery red, sort of a deep red. So it looks like it's on fire. And I can start to sort of play around with the colors, like that. Just make them a bit sort of taller. There we go. And if I make this darker color, a bit sort of deeper like that, and I can start to change my writing to sort of match that kind of fire that's happening with my background. So then that's entirely up to you really what you want to do. So what have we done? We've selected and we've created a curves adjustment, and it's automatically masked out that selection for us. We've gone and made a group, so we've gone and created a group of selections that we're going to paste together inside a group that's always going to be moving together, and anything that we do to that is going to be masked out with our curves. I'm going to put a gradient in here, and then the next job would probably be sort of my microphone home, and I'll do something with that perhaps, because I do need maybe some writing in there, but that's a bit more advanced, where I can start to change that particular layer and have like outlines and sheens and stuff like that. So that's coming up in the intermediate section. So that's about it for this. Try and get something like this, whatever it is that you're working on. Be a bit more creative. If you get mistakes like I did with my gradient, don't worry. You can always undo. You've got a full history. You don't need to worry about that. But try and create a nice curves adjustment in your work. As always, good luck.